In this section, we continue with our analysis of the video style that enhances or hinders a connection between politicians and their followers. We focus on camera shot types with subtle production decisions affecting perceptions by the general public. There are four major camera shot types that we see in competitive politics such as debates. They are head and shoulders, side-by-side shots, split-screen shots, and multiple candidate shots. We will next consider each of these camera shots that frame how we see political figures in greater detail. Camera perspectives that focus on head and shoulders of the candidates place the candidate in an artificially intimate face-to-face relationship with the viewers. This in-your-face politics either leads to greater connection between the viewer and the candidate, or it enhances antagonism. Of course, this builds upon pre-existing relationships that the viewer has with the candidate, with emotional response enhanced by how close the camera gets to the candidate's face, just like in real life. When candidates are shown next to each other, whether in split screen or side by side, this juxtaposition heightens the perceived conflict by emphasizing visual comparisons. Often, these comparisons may be made based upon electoral status, especially as candidates are arranged on stage based upon their public opinion polling numbers, or based upon ideological conflicts that make for good television. In the bottom shot, what is interesting is that New York Governor Chris Christie and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul look to be entering into a near fistfight over ideological differences regarding constitutional interpretation. But this is because they are across the stage from each other and separated by 8 other Republican Party candidates in this early 2016 presidential primary debate. In other words, they're just trying to communicate with each other over a distance. As we know from our previous work, initial impressions matter, especially those that are pre-consciously processed. When candidates are in the same physical frame, viewers have the opportunity to directly compare contenders based upon weight and height, and nonverbal actions. In this scene, we see a very obvious height and size comparison based upon the lines in the background of the stage. And, as seen in the second town hall debate of the 2016 presidential election, where at times Donald Trump appeared to loom large behind Hillary Clinton, nonverbal behavior, even more than policy statements by the candidates, can become the main story. Split-screen shots provide viewers the ability to see both candidates up close and personal and monitor their facial reactions when the moderator raises questions or the opposition candidate raises attacks, makes claims, or defends against questions and attacks. These choices between either split screen or what is referred to as switch camera feed that allows for multiple perspectives have implications for how the public views candidates. In 2016, most media outlets chose to present candidates predominantly in the split-screen format. But when colleagues and I here at the University of Arkansas directly tested the effect of camera feed choices, whether 100% split-screen or 100% switch camera feed, on the perception of Clinton and Trump's leadership traits, Trump was affected by the camera feed across a broader range of traits, 9 of 19 traits to be specific, than was Hillary Clinton, 3 of 19, thanks to his nonverbal behavior. Trump was seen as more sophisticated, honest, attractive, sincere, strong, active, intelligent, trustworthy, and generous in the switch camera feed when compared with the split screen. Clinton, for her part, was seen as more strong, competent, and intelligent in the switch feed than the split screen feed. This suggests we might have a more skeptical view of politicians when we can keep our eyes on them. Multi-candidate shots, in which candidates are portrayed as being part of a group, can be seen as reflecting diminished stature if that is the main camera shot that the candidates are shown in. This is especially the case when the stage is full of candidates, upwards of 10 total, as it de-emphasizes detail while emphasizing social comparisons in terms of size, posture, and hand and arm gesticulations. What we found from the 2016 initial Republican primary debates was that the Fox News, almost all candidates' time in group shots was the same, but the greater overall time for Bush and Trump being shown in other camera shots made their proportions much lower. As expected, a similar situation was seen with CNN's treatment of Trump and Bush. However, the faltering frontrunner, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker, spent the highest amount of time in the group shot. He dropped out of the race very soon thereafter. There are ways to stand out from a crowd of candidates on stage. Here, we see Donald Trump raising his hand when asked by the Fox News moderator if there is anyone on stage unwilling to pledge their support to the eventual nominee of the Republican Party and run an independent campaign for the presidency. Not that it made a difference, ultimately, but Trump's willingness to turn on the Republican Party establishment made for great television. Each network also engages in a broad range of production approaches that involves actual camera maneuvers. These include the shot length, the camera movement, and camera angle. Each of these influences perceptions of the candidates, although systematic testing with political figures has yet to occur. What we do know is that these types of shots are seen in political coverage, including presidential debates. Shot length connects rather closely with camera shot types, whether solo shots, split-screen shots, side-by-side shots, and group shots. Camera movement matters by providing insights regarding approach or avoidance of candidates, with zooming in bringing the viewer closer and into a more intimate position. On the other hand, zooming out moves the viewer away, virtually. Finally, the you are there perspective of the camera in the audience provides an eyewitness view of the candidate. Camera angle, likewise, reprises our experience with power. When we are children, we look up to adults with their authority and power over us. When we are older and larger, we look down at those without authority. And maneuvers play a role in how we view the world in a very subtle, indeed likely pre-conscious, manner. This most likely influences how we view politicians. Paying more attention to camera shots will provide us a better understanding of the influence of visual media politics.